Hello, my name's Sinead Sharkey Steenson from Generation Women, and I'm delighted to be here talking to you today about women's advancement and how we can support women to become more equal in the workplace.
So welcome to Profile 3 TV, and today we're joined by Sinead Sharkey Steenson. You're the founder and director of Generation Women.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for coming in and talking to us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
No, it's
It's a
brilliant.
pleasure to be here.
Excellent. So you wouldn't mind, so the few people who are watching this that don't know who you are, you wouldn't mind giving us a little bit of background on yourself?
Yep. Well, I started out my career actually in HR. I came out of my psychology degree at Queen's and didn't really know what I wanted to do. So played about with a few things, went into HR, discovered that wasn't for me. Because I didn't like saying no to things that people wanted to do, which you have to be able to do quite well in that. And it was around the time of the IT boom. So I went back and did a conversion masters at that time in IT, and it was a bit of an odd choice for me because I ended up being a total square peg in a round hole. It wasn't for me, and I was kind of drifting in my career for a while and even though I got a brilliant job in a really good company with people I loved, I was really miserable with what I was doing and lost a lot of confidence as a result of it. So ended up moaning a lot for a while and not knowing what to do and feeling stuck because I was on good money, but didn't feel like I could do anything else. And ended up, after moaning for a long time, having a word with myself and saying, well, either you do something differently or you just stay miserable for the rest of your life. So I ended up doing a lot of work on myself, really. I looked at different courses that were out there and got coaching and did different things and started to discover my passion, which was improving things and really helping other people succeed. And once I started to see that, then I was able to go into work and say, I went into my director one day and said, I don't think I'm in the right place here. And I think he knew that, even though I was doing a good job. And I said, I think I can help with other things, like our employee engagement was really bad at that time. So I said, I think I can help fix that. And he was really pleased because he didn't really know what to do with it, and worked on myself and confidence and changed my career around, and then started looking at how I could maybe do that for other people. So I went on maternity leave with my first daughter about 6 years ago, and the seed was there about maybe doing something different, and then had my second daughter and realised I definitely want to make the move. Became passionate about equality because of them. I started seeing the world in a different way, started working with organisations like Lean In, and saw that there was a need for my skills and what I could bring, and women were really responding to the courses that I was doing and the work I was doing, and it was having a massive impact. And I thought, right, it's now or never, take the leap. And I started the business, and thankfully, with a lot of hard work, it's doing well and making an impact.
Amazing, excellent. And Generation Women was launched then?
Yes, yeah. So it was launched off the back of, I don't know if people know what Lean In is, but it's an organisation that was started by Sheryl Sandberg, which was, it's a movement of peer support, so women helping each other to achieve their career ambitions. And a woman in Belfast, Nuala Murphy, started it here. and I went to meet her while I was on maternity leave, and we kind of bonded over it. We both were off at the time, both had wee babies, both facing a lot of those challenges, and she asked me to come and do a talk on confidence, and it had a real impact with the people that came to it, and I thought, do you know what, I'm onto something here, and it went from there. Here we are.
Incredible. And so Generation Women, so what would someone expect from that if they went to the website? What's you offer services?
Yeah, so
support?
I work in two ways. I work with women individually or in small groups to help them understand what their career direction is, to help them build their confidence, to help them accelerate their careers. So there's different programs and coaching I do like that. And then I also work with businesses who want to make the most of their female talent, because it's not, I mean, we can do a lot for ourselves, but it's not about fixing women. It's about fixing the society that we live in and supporting women to be enabled to be more equal in the workplace.
Amazing, excellent. And you still see a major problem then in certain industries, I guess, or all industries?
Well, yeah, there is a problem in a lot of industries, and yeah, definitely some more than others. But I mean, I was chatting to some of your guys here before we started this, and you know, there's data out there that says we're maybe 200 years away from equality, you know, at the pace we're moving at. So there's a lot needs to change, and then you've got industries like the tech industry and whatever, where things are really far behind and getting worse. And even anecdotally, I mean, when I did my conversion masters, it was almost 50-50 women and men then, and that's about 20 years ago. But now in the tech industry, and I don't know if that was representative or not then, but now it's 3-1 men to women in the industry, and you know, the number of women going into STEM subjects is not getting any better.
Yes. So what struggles do women have in industry?
Well, a lot. And I mean, everybody has their struggles, but there's definitely things that impact women. So recruitment wise, you know, it's been shown that there's bias in the whole recruitment process. So whether that's how you go about the recruitment, you know, looking at your advertising, the language you use, the images you use, you know, if they're very male centric, even, you know, race, whatever, then that is going to attract more of what you've got. Bias in how they recruit. So without realising it, you know, we do go for this, what's the same as us. And, you know, if it's two men on the interview panel, then it's going to be a much harder battle for a woman to get through. And they've shown through blind CV sifting and blind interview processes and whatever that it does have a major impact. And then that feeds right through. I mean, you're more likely to be called John as a CEO than you are to be a woman, you know, much more likely, so there's so few women at the top levels, and there's things like, you know, how you measure performance, how promotions are done, opportunities for training. All of these things have an impact, and bias and our processes and structures get in the way.
It's incredible, because I'm thinking back to my youth and how things have changed, and the push towards inclusion and how roles have changed, definitely. And you're right, it's all around society.
Yeah.
And I'm just amazed that we're even, you know, having this
I know.
conversation. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Still today that this is such a challenge. But how do you think then companies could improve their inclusion and their diversity in their workplace?
Yeah, well, there's loads they can do. It's interesting you saying that, you know, how can there still be a challenge, but a lot of us don't see it. So I spent most of my working life in organisations that were 90+% male, and I didn't see it,
That's
you know,
yes.
until I came out of it. So first of all, I mean, it's everywhere. It's in the news a lot, and that awareness is good. It's getting things in conversation, creates a bit of a backlash as well. But you know, you have to deal with the good and the bad. But then companies can really, you know, put it on the agenda. So it has to come from the top down. You know, there's a lot of push. I see amazing people in companies doing a lot of work. You know, they're pushing it from their level. But unless it's really taken seriously at board, at leadership team level, then it's only going to get so far and lip service is paid. So it has to be on the agenda, and you have to look at your processes and look at where are the problems happening. Are we getting enough women in to begin with? Are we losing them at a certain stage? Are they not getting to certain levels? And what's the input to that? You know, what's going wrong?
Amazing, and as you said, like we see it in the media all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe we're becoming numb to it a wee bit.
Yeah.
And you're right. We're all busy and doing the job, and we forget to step back and actually have a look and see
Yeah.
how things are getting on
Yeah.
and if things have really changed.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it can be amazing. You can, and you're so used to the way things are that you have to go in with a fresh set of glasses on and even pay attention in your meetings. Who's getting invited to meetings? Who's getting the airtime? And what are you doing to change that? You know, who's getting to do the presenting? Who's being made more visible? And it'd be amazing what you learn. And it's not just, it's about all minorities. So thinking in those ways to embrace all diversity and inclusion. But obviously my focus is women at the moment, but I'm passionate about diversity in general.
And I think raising awareness of one, it's going to
It
make
does,
people very,
yeah.
very conscious of everyone.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it does, it changes mindsets, without a
Yeah.
doubt. Have you seen any real changes then in how inclusion is dealt with, or what's happened in that in the workplace?
Yeah, I've seen some really good things happening. I mean, I've mentioned Lean In has been a brilliant movement where women are self-organising in peer support groups, and I've seen massive impact in that from, you know, pushing each other on to ask for pay rises, to go for giving each other the confidence to go for other jobs. And even you know, a good friend of mine, Victoria McCallum, she runs Women in Tech, Lean In, and they do a lot to challenge the organisation. So where they hear things that are not good practice, they don't just sit on it, they will go back and feed that back and impact change. And then there's stuff companies are doing, you know, bringing in inclusion programs, putting that focus, giving more support, reviewing how they're doing things. You know, there is a lot of good work being done, definitely.
Incredible. And if those company owners or senior managers or HR watching this, is there mistakes that they might be doing that they may not even be realising, or things that they're missing? Is there any tips or advice you'd have around that?
Yeah, well, I think, yeah, there is, without a doubt. There was a really good programme on BBC, it's not BBC Three anymore, I can't remember what someone, and it was about harassment, and they did a video, following this woman going through a new workplace and showing what harassment looks like in real life. And they got a group of men and women to watch it, and most of them were completely unaware of what harassment is. It was quite shocking, you know, from commenting on what a woman's wearing through to, you know, people recognise the unwanted advances piece, but they probably don't recognise the banter and the stuff that's creating exclusion. The way maybe they're setting up meetings and allowing women to do the housekeeping tasks, you know, so asking them to go and get the coffee or take the notes, you know, be the secretary. So it's challenging your perceptions and going, are we doing things equally here? And are we accepting unacceptable behaviour? You know, when people leave your company, do you have a really good chat with them about why they're going? And if women aren't staying, I'm telling you, there's a problem. They may not be telling you, but there is. And who are the managers that they're leaving?
Yeah.
Because we tend to leave managers, not companies.
Yeah, incredible. And as you mentioned, some of the problems there that actually could impact people more than we're used to the normal harassment that we all think, but the exclusion and the subtle innuendos are actually probably have more of an impact on someone than...
Absolutely. It's like that drip effect. So over time, it leads somebody to be somebody that they're not, you know, so hiding who they are and minimising themselves and minimising their behaviour. I mean, I bet every woman has experienced banter that they're uncomfortable with. But if you see something, are you then the killjoy, and then does everybody have to be scared around you? And it's just about thinking, well, no, what does respect look like? And how can we treat people with respect?
Amazing. I've been through, I'm thinking, you know, so many workplaces myself and run the business, and you just wonder sometimes what is going on in people's heads. You just don't understand why would, you know, we're all grown adults. Normally you think there's going to be problems as kids, and we do have that as well in society, but then as adults you think people would have enough common sense to not do this, but sadly it happens all too often, as you say. It's incredible. You just don't understand why.
Why. And it takes a conscious effort to say, right, I'm going to go in and pay attention. You know, we're all going through life in a bit of a trance, really, and it takes you to stop and say, and to speak to the women in your organisation and say, is there stuff you're not happy with? You know, what can we be doing more of, less of? What do you need to see change? I mean, even simple things like, you know, Sheryl Sandberg gave an example when she became pregnant. She never realised that there was no parking close to the building until she could barely physically walk to her office anymore. But it took her to experience it before the change happened. So you've got to be a bit more proactive than that and look for what might the challenges be and how can we deal with them.
Amazing. And you've mentioned a few names as we're talking. So who would you see then as, I guess, role models? And I'm thinking of people in companies. Is there any shining lights out there?
Oh, there's loads, and probably too many to mention. I mean, I've harped on a bit about Sheryl, but just because she's created such a movement and has used her platform and position to do something good. But if I look locally, in Ireland, you know, the head, is it Marianne Holmes? I think Anne-Marie Holmes, sorry. Is very senior in Intel Ireland, so she's the head of operations. I'm not sure of her specific role, but she has taken a very proactive role in supporting women and changing that whole dynamic and looking at what we can do differently. You know, you've brilliant heads in tech here, like Patricia O'Hagan of Core Systems, but the people that probably inspire me the most are the ones that maybe don't have the same influence, but they're still out there trying to do something. So Sensata, there's a woman, Catherine McGinnity in Sensata, who with a team of brilliant people has created a real movement for change, from kind of pushed from the bottom up. So they've built a network that's called the Grow Network, that really supports women and diversity and inclusion, and they've made massive changes. So it can happen at all levels, and I think that's really amazing to see, and there's so many people doing that.
Incredible. And then I'm thinking, if there's any ladies watching this, at home thinking, wow, okay, or in work, or on the way to work, what should they be thinking of? What should they be, asking themselves and considering what they should do to advance their own career?
Well, I mean, that's really what I help people do, and I think the first thing is to look at, well, are you happy and energized by where you're at? Are you thriving in the environment with what you're doing? And if not, why not? And to start to look at those, things that are holding you back. And then to look at, where do I want to get to? What are my goals? What direction do I want to go in? Look at getting a mentor and a sponsor. And a sponsor, even more than a mentor, will create opportunities for you. So it's actively looking for people in your network that can help you make things happen. And of course, I would suggest getting a coach because, I mean, I know that is what I do. But if you can get where you want to go if you've got the right mindset and attitude and will to do it. But a coach will really help you get there faster, challenge your thinking, help you get the direction you want and get really clear on your strategy in making it happen. So it's different from going doing a course. It's about what am I really going to do.
Amazing, excellent. And again, I guess in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, where do you think things will move? You were saying earlier that it's been moving quite slow. You'd like to see the pace picked up a little bit?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, my ideal would be, that things are equal. Is that going to happen in 10 or 20 years' time? I don't know. I mean, I've got 2 daughters. I want them to be able to achieve what they want in their careers, for there to be no barriers. I mean, I've mentioned Cheryl a few times, Cheryl Sandberg speak, and met with her a few weeks ago. And one thing that she said really stuck with me, and this would be my goal, is that 50% of businesses be run by women and 50% of homes be run by men.
Wow.
And I think when we've done that, then we've cracked it.
It's amazing, and as you say, you're flipping it as well, and
Yeah,
that's actually another probably stigma as well, is stay-at-home dads.
absolutely. So equality is good for everybody, because we can't make change unless we're all able to do the things that we want to do, and it is difficult for men to say, well, yeah, I would rather stay at home, have more time at home with the kids and have that flexibility. So we've got to facilitate that.
Oh, incredible, yeah, and you think about it, that would be, in the last couple of years, something that did have a stigma, but I think it's slowly ebbing away, so
Yeah,
amazing,
yeah.
so it's good to see. So you think, so we're talking about inclusion in the workforce, and obviously bigger companies have maybe a better opportunity to make sure it's rolled out everywhere, but small companies are probably thinking, oh my word, I have to run the business and I'm
Yeah.
doing 200 things, so but it can be across the board, or it has to be.
Yeah.
Have you any guidance or advice around that?
Well, in some ways, yeah. I mean, I know what it's like running a small business, and your time is challenged. But at the same time, I've worked in cultural transformation for many years in big businesses, and it's really tough to change those big businesses. Even though you've got more resource and whatever, there's a lot more moving parts to manage. So I think with a small business, it is easier to do. You just need to think about it today and start implementing it. So looking at how you encouraging women into your business, and then how you supporting them. And it's about being supportive of everybody, but just making sure that you're being more equal about it. So I mean, I've worked with a few tech startups, and they don't even have toilets for women, or feminine hygiene stuff, or the basics. Well, way to make somebody feel excluded and like a problem rather than a valued part of your organisation. So take a woman round with you and say, okay, what do you need and how is this going to work and what have we not thought of? And a bit of open conversation like that will take you a long way.
Incredible. So you're sharing some best practice for us there. But and it's interesting, I had the mindset that the bigger companies would be easier, but actually it's the flip. It's very good feedback.
So yeah, well, it's just because you've got so many more people to influence. Whereas if you are focused on shaping a respectful, inclusive culture, it's quite easy to do with a small amount of people.
Makes sense, no, of course. And then as you go to 50 people, 100 people.
Yeah, you have to think about, well, how do we scale this up and how do we make sure everybody understands that? So, you know, you think about how you do inductions and how you have performance conversations and keep that ongoing process going.
Excellent. So what's next for Generation Women then?
Oh, so lots of things. It's an exciting year ahead. So I'm focused on making my programs more accessible to more people, more women. So bringing out some total online self-study versions of my programs. That's going to be a big thing for this year. And I'm starting a new business with a colleague of mine, Lisa Strutt, called Reboot. So that's going to be making a big impact, hopefully, in helping in recruitment. So
amazing, excellent, very exciting.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sinead, for coming in and talking to us today. If anyone's watching this and wants to get help with their workplace inclusion, or it's a lady at home thinking I need to develop myself and get back into work, or want to improve where they are in the workplace, what's the best way to reach you? Or
so connect with me on LinkedIn or visit the website. You can book in a call with me to have a chat, and I'm always open to a chat and see what I can do.
Amazing. And what's the website address you're on?
It's www.genwomen.global.
Brilliant, excellent. And we'll have links underneath the video, so anyone that's watching this video, please do check in the links below and click through and have a chat with Sinead. So thank you again for your time.
Okay,
brilliant.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Hopefully enjoyed today's chat. This is Kieran from Profile 3, coming to you from the Innovation Factory here in Springfield Road. We'll hopefully see you in tomorrow's video. Thank you again.